Hi guys, welcome back to the workshop. As discussed in the last video, hiding my nuts, I'm going to make some covers for the ways on my milling machine. I'm going to have to cut those covers into the shape of the vise, and to do that we're going to use the ticking stick method. We're over at the bandsaw. We'll make our ticking stick. I'm going to make it out of a piece of Rumu timber. This is just an offcut that has come off a piece of timber I've got in the workshop. So we'll start. It's just a scrap piece of timber from the workshop. Can be anything. Could be a piece of perspex, could be a piece of plywood. There are no set lengths, there are no set notches. Just make it to suit the job you're going to do. So first of all, just cut a paper on one end. I tend to cut a longer, thinner paper so you get a nice point on it. On the other end now, this is just, you don't have to do this. I just cut a smaller paper. That's why when I mark it, I can actually mark that edge and you get an idea where it's placed. And now I'm just going to cut a little notch in it. When we mark, we'll mark in and out of that notch, and that's it. So that's our ticking stick cut. I will take it over onto the belt set and give that a clean up, and I will give this a little clean up inside, but that's our ticking stick made. Easy as that. If you were using this in a bigger area, let's say you wanted to mark the inside of a wardrobe out, an odd shaped wardrobe, you could put a piece of cardboard in the middle, tape it down, and use let's say half a metre long ticking stick. Use that in your wardrobe. Exactly the same process as we're going to do. You could mark out the inside of a vehicle. Say you wanted to put carpet in a van. Same thing, or plywood in a van. You could use a ticking stick, piece of cardboard in the middle, and go around. Be exactly the same process as we're going to do on my milling machine. I believe the ticking stick started off being used in the boat industry, in the marine industry, for fitting odd size bits of timber into odd size shape areas. Alright, so I'm going to go and give this a quick sand, and then I'll meet you over on the milling machine where we're going to make the covers for our ways. Right, I'm over at my milling machine. So I want to cut a cover to fit around here and around to cover up my ways on my machine. Most of the time I'm just using my vise, and this just fills up, and often tools get put on here and bits and pieces, so I just want to cover these for protection. So what I'm going to do is, I've just got a piece of paper. I'm going to use this corner as my demarcation corner, so all my measurements are going to be done from there. So let's tape this in place. So here's our ticking stick. Like I said, I've sanded that. I've just given it a sand up, and I chiseled those out a little bit. So now we're just going to go around the curve bit by bit. The more marks I make, the easier it is me to draw the curve later, I'm not going to go in here. I don't need to go. I'm going to go straight across that gap. So I'll take a mark there and a mark there. And same with this little notch. I'm just going to go past that. But I do want to come around here, and I do want to get a nice curve in here and a very nice curve here. Here's another ticking stick I used upstairs. It's just a piece of Perspex acrylic, and this one I just had the two, don't know if you can see that, I just had two little marks there that I scratched in it. This was for a little job, a skirting job upstairs. I'll take a photo of it where I cut a door jamb around an existing skirting and around a little piece of architrave. I'll put a picture in when I actually do the editing that you can see that. You actually think the timber is under the mouldings, but it's actually cut in, and I just used this. It was just very fine detail. So like I said, you can use anything. I used that upstairs. So we're just going to start to go around. You put your point up against the edge there, and then you draw along your ticking stick, and we're just going to go in and out of the V and along. Now if you wanted, you could also mark the end, depending on what I'm using. If it's only got a couple of marks like that other one, I mark the end so I can see where it goes, but I don't need to in this case because I've marked my V. So I'm just going to go down here, along, mark my V, might be getting too close. Yeah, I might be getting too close to those other marks. So I'm just going to move to another area on my paper. Now I want to come down this edge here, but I can come back to here. As long as I've got that point touching, doesn't matter, as long as you get a mark on the paper. So I just want a couple of marks so I get that straight line. We'll go into that point there just so. One down here. Right on that edge. Now I'll start going around this curve. It looks like a lot of lines, but it's amazing when you actually come to transfer them down, they actually all sort of fall into place. Okay, so that's it. That's my mark. I know that's the corner that I'm going to use for all of my datum to come from. Let's go around and transfer this onto a piece of timber to cut. So this is the piece of plywood that I am going to use to make the covers. It was an old sign out of a motorcycle shop that I got given. So often I just grab, if people want to get rid of things, and these guys had a whole lot of signs that came off the wall, I just took it and said thank you very much. So this is going to be the same corner as everything's going to be marked from. So I will stick this on there. Now all we do is take our ticking stick, doesn't matter where we start, we put it over the existing mark, hold it, and we put a little mark right on the dot where it was touching. Make sure my edges are running along the line I put. Put a little mark. Go to the next one. Line it up on my mark. So I'm lining it along here along this edge. So I'm lining this edge with the notch on the edge with the notch. And we're going to put a little mark. So now I'm just going to join the dots. I'll cut it out close. Yeah, I'll cut it in here somewhere. I'll cut, a few mils off, and then I'll sand it to the line. Right, let's go to the bandsaw again. So I've just finished sanding, and if you have a look you can actually still see the pencil line just around the edges. So let's see if it fits. Look at that, like a glove. Fantastic. Beautiful fit. So now I'm just going to cut this edge off it. So with the help of this little stick, this little ticking stick, just a little piece of rumi with a couple of angles cut on it, one go we fitted that beautifully. Works every time. Love it. Have a go, see what you think. So I'm going to cut this off now. I'll paint this grey, fit it on. But I think you've seen how they work. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Please like and subscribe and those sort of things. I'm really enjoying doing these videos, and we'll keep them coming. We'll see you on the next one.